The hidden cost of intimacy with a narcissistic woman. Why do I keep giving myself to someone who drains me? Have you ever lain awake afterward, chest tight, heart hollow, feeling the cold, quiet press in, wondering if this is what intimacy feels like now? An exhausting transaction, a slow bleed instead of a warm embrace. You might catch the faintest scent of her perfume lingering on your pillow, a ghost of a touch, and feel a deep thrum of unease. You walk into it with hope, perhaps a lingering echo of what you thought love should be, drawn by the flickering flame of a moment of shared laughter, only to find yourself disoriented by the stark reality of what unfolded. Intimacy is supposed to be about genuine connection, right? But with a narcissistic woman, it's something else. Entirely something quieter, more insidious, and far more dangerous to your spirit. It's a subtle trap, expertly disguised as desire. A silent siphon stealing not just your precious time or vital energy, but your very sense of self. This isn't merely about bodies meeting in the dark. It is about what is being systematically lost in the process. The part of you that instinctively knows you deserve far more than emotional leftovers, more than meager crumbs of attention, haphazardly wrapped in profound neglect. It is about the internal erosion that chips away at your perception of worth, leaving you questioning your own reality and value in the world, with a dull ache that settles deep in your bones. I'm Virji Sharma, and welcome to Recover Thyself, where we dig deep beneath the deceptive surface, peeling back the layers to shine an unflinching light on the subtle yet devastating psychological damage that ongoing intimate involvement with a narcissistic woman quietly inflicts upon unsuspecting men. We're here to equip you with the understanding and clarity you need to finally break free. Why men keep having sex with a narcissistic woman even when it hurts. Why am I still opening the door to her bed, knowing it won't fill the emptiness? Many men find themselves ensnared in a perplexing loop where the same emotionally draining scenes replay over and over. Late night texts that initiate midnight drives, the chilling silence of a non-response sometimes, followed by a sudden buzz, a desperate hope for profound connection, only to consistently find cold distance and detachment instead. It's a cycle that feels inescapable, a magnetic pull despite the undeniable pain. One man, whose story echoes countless others, described it vividly as like falling into a pit I thought I'd climbed out of, feeling the walls pressing in with each return. He articulated the baffling experience of knowing it's the same tired story, anticipating the same emotional exhaustion, yet every time she reaches out, every time that alluring, deceptively casual invitation comes, it's almost automatic, an unthinking compulsion to say yes. He chases a flickering flame of genuine connection that always seems just out of reach. This isn't solely about physical desire anymore. It evolves into a desperate, subconscious attempt to fix something deeply broken, with pieces that frustratingly keep slipping through your fingers. You're trying to mend a fractured dynamic, a fractured person, using the very acts that perpetuate your own hurt. The hope, however faint, that this time it will be different, that this time your kindness or vulnerability will finally unlock something real in her, drives this persistent return. But when morning inevitably comes, There is no genuine healing, no restoration, only a profound, aching emptiness and the haunting, relentless question, sometimes a whisper in your own ear. Why do I keep giving so much when I consistently get absolutely nothing substantial back? This pattern isn't a testament to passion or fervent attraction. It's a form of surrender, a gradual surrender to the relentless chaos she orchestrates, to her unpredictable and often cruel mood swings, to her mesmerizing yet ultimately destructive pull that leaves you feeling more profoundly alone, more spiritually depleted than you ever thought possible. It is a slow capitulation of your boundaries, your self-respect, and your innate desire for healthy, reciprocal love. The allure of her attention, however fleeting or conditional, becomes a drug, creating a craving that overrides rational thought, pulling you back into the very dynamic that systematically diminishes you, making the flickering flame of hope harder to distinguish from the slow burn of regret. Need to talk about your experience with a narcissistic woman. What if you could finally share what's really going on without shame or judgment? The hidden nature of this dynamic often leaves men feeling isolated, ashamed, and deeply misunderstood. The stories you carry, the silent screams of frustration, the perplexing contradictions of loving someone who covertly hurts you, these weigh heavily. You might feel a knot in your stomach just thinking about it, a constant buzz of anxiety just beneath the surface. Another man, courageous enough to confide in me, captured this agonizing internal conflict perfectly. He felt perpetually trapped between profound confusion and overwhelming exhaustion. I kept asking myself, why do I let it happen again and again? This isn't a unique sentiment. It is a shared whisper among those caught in the subtle web of narcissistic abuse, clinging to a flickering flame of past affection that never truly ignited. The truth is, when you're caught in this bewildering, painful cycle, talking to someone who genuinely understands the intricate, often counterintuitive mechanisms of narcissistic abuse can be an absolute lifeline. It provides not just an outlet for the pent-up emotions, but crucial validation that your experiences are real, not imagined. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're not broken beyond repair. And most importantly, you are absolutely not alone in this struggle. Many have walked this path before you, and many have found their way out of the shadows towards a brighter, more stable light. If you find yourself yearning for someone to truly listen, to help you unpack the tangled, bewildering feelings that accumulate from this kind of intimate entanglement, my calendar is open. Let's begin the crucial work of untangling your unique story together, guiding you toward clarity, understanding, and ultimately genuine healing. The first step towards freedom is often simply speaking your truth to someone who can hold it with care and empathy. What repeated intimacy with a narcissistic woman does to your mind? Why does each encounter feel less like pleasure and more like loss? Intimacy with a narcissistic woman is rarely about mutual fulfillment. Instead, it slowly, subtly, and systematically rewires your brain's fundamental. It's a process that undermines your internal compass, shifting your very perception of intimacy. One man, reflecting on his experience, described feeling like a stranger living inside my own skin, where the expected warmth and comfort of physical closeness were replaced by a chilling, pervasive exhaustion that settled deep within him. It's as if your very essence becomes alien to you, transformed by the relentless pursuit of a flickering flame that offers no real heat. Each time you engage physically, your brain is quietly, insidiously rewriting its deepest, most primal rules regarding intimacy, linking sex not with genuine closeness, comfort, or joy, but with a profound cocktail of confusion, self-doubt, and ultimately a creeping sense of shame. This creates a deeply unsettling paradox your mind constantly struggles to resolve. Your body, hardwired for connection and pleasure, craves the intimacy that you don't truly receive, while your heart instinctively recoils from the palpable emptiness, the cold void that inevitably follows each encounter. The dissonance between what you desire and what you experience creates a deep internal schism, a gnawing unease that lingers long after she is gone. This isn't just about tired muscles or a foggy head the morning after. It's about the devastating, slow erosion of your emotional resilience, the gradual, insidious draining of your self-worth. One intimate encounter at a time, your spirit becomes depleted, your boundaries blurred, and your ability to trust both others and yourself severely compromised. The initial sparks of attraction or hope give way to a dull ache, a quiet despair that permeates every aspect of your life. It is a continuous, invisible drain on your psychological well-being, leaving you a shadow of your former self, uncertain of your own feelings and worth chasing a flickering flame that promises warmth but only delivers cold ashes. Why the body keeps going back to a narcissistic woman? Why does my body betray me by wanting someone who treats me so badly? This is perhaps one of the most perplexing and frustrating aspects of being intimately involved with a narcissistic woman, the seeming betrayal of your own physical desires. You might feel a shiver of repulsion even as a part of you still yearns. Another man, sharing a haunting insight, articulated this painful contradiction perfectly. I told myself it was just physical, but each time my body said yes, my mind screamed, no. The human brain, inherently desperate for consistency and to make sense of its reality, invents elaborate stories, narratives to justify this profound contradiction between desire and degradation. Perhaps she loves me in her own unique way, you tell yourself. Maybe she's just damaged and I can fix her. This is a powerful, primal survival mechanism kicking in, shielding you from the harsh, undeniable truth. Your body has been and continues to be used as a silent bargaining chip, a desperate, often unconscious, way to hold onto fleeting, illusory moments of warmth, validation, or attention that never truly materialize into genuine connection. It is like reaching for a flickering flame that burns, searing your fingertips, yet continuously promises a guiding light that perpetually eludes your grasp. You are left with the faint taste of ash in your mouth, a reminder of what was promised but never delivered. You're drawn to the potential, the promise of what could be, rather than the stark reality of what is. This internal justification becomes a self-reinforcing loop, where the more you engage, the more your mind rationalizes it, further cementing the harmful pattern. Your body, responding to primal needs for intimacy, becomes a conduit for her control, while your mind struggles to reconcile the physical act with the emotional void, leading to profound cognitive dissonance and a constant thrum of anxiety under your skin. The emotional payoff, or lack thereof, with a narcissistic woman. Why does intimacy with her leave me emptier, not fuller? The cruel paradox of intimacy with a narcissistic woman is that what is designed to fill you up leaves you profoundly depleted. One man vividly described these encounters as giving everything, but feeling more invisible after. This chilling sentiment encapsulates the transactional and utterly one-sided nature of the relationship, where your emotional investment yields a net loss, not gain. You pour your affection, your vulnerability, your very being into the interaction, only to find yourself paradoxically diminished and overlooked, feeling as though you are simply a ghost in your own skin. Her touch, rather than being comforting or genuinely affectionate, often feels purely mechanical. It serves her need for supply, not your need for connection. You might feel a shiver of disquiet as she turns away. The very air in the room suddenly cold and heavy. Instead of feeling seen, validated, or cherished, he confessed to feeling like a ghost, a mere presence she tolerated, acknowledged only when it explicitly suited her immediate desires or ego-boosting agenda. There is no true mutual recognition, no emotional resonance that speaks to the deeper parts of your soul, leaving you with a hollow echo in your chest where connection should be. Intimacy, in this deeply distorted dynamic, transforms into a painful, soul-crushing transaction. He pays a steep price with his heart, his emotional energy, and his innate desire for love, but consistently receives only indifference or thinly veiled contempt in return. It's a recurring deficit where the emotional balance always tips heavily against him. And yet, despite this consistent emotional bankruptcy, he keeps returning, clutching desperately to a fading hope, a flickering flame that each subsequent encounter could somehow miraculously break. The cycle, only to find himself confronting the same agonizing mirage of intimacy that inevitably evaporates at dawn, leaving him stranded in a desert of unmet needs and shattered illusions. The emotional toll is cumulative, leaving scars that run far deeper than any physical interaction. Now, it feels like a chain I can't break. This poignant progression captures the essence of how a series of seemingly isolated incidents coalesce into a profound, almost inescapable trap. Each repeated encounter with a narcissistic woman isn't just another moment. It layers another link, forging an unbreakable seeming chain of habit and deep-seated emotional entanglement that binds you ever more tightly to her manipulative control. You might even feel a dull clang of recognition each time you go back, a tightness in your throat. The human mind, in its desperate attempt to rationalize and find meaning, convinces itself that this relentless cycle must mean something significant, because admitting it doesn't, admitting your vulnerability has been exploited, is too overwhelmingly painful to confront directly. You fabricate narratives of love, commitment, or unique connection to explain away the glaring inconsistencies and the emotional abuse. You try to rekindle that initial flickering flame of hope, even as it dwindles to nothing. But this isn't love. It's the sheer force of repetition that creates a powerful illusion, a distorted reality. And with each subsequent repetition, the psychological, emotional, and spiritual damage grows exponentially deeper, embedding itself into your very being, leaving you with a constant background hum of anxiety. You don't truly love her in the way you desperately wish you did. What you've cultivated is a deep-seated psychological dependence, a habit born from repeated attempts to justify your enduring presence in a toxic dynamic. This makes the path to liberation incredibly challenging, as breaking free demands confronting the painful truth. You've been consistently giving the best, most vulnerable parts of yourself to someone who fundamentally couldn't care less about your well-being or your genuine needs. This realization is often the hardest, yet most crucial, step towards genuine healing and recovery. Breaking free. Reclaim your body. Reclaim your life from a narcissistic woman. What if the first step to healing was saying no to her and to your own self-betrayal? There comes a pivotal moment, a breaking point, when the cumulative weight of the emotional and psychological toll becomes unbearable. This is the moment of clarity, the opportunity for true liberation. Another man courageously shared the exact moment he finally found the strength to say no when her familiar calls came and the old manipulative pull tried desperately to drag him back into the cycle. He described the raw fear of the ensuing silence and profound loneliness as standing on the edge of a cliff, a terrifying precipice between familiar pain and an unknown future. Yet, surprisingly, an unexpected calm and profound sense of personal power came over him the instant he firmly stepped back, like a fresh breeze extinguishing a smothering, flickering flame. Taking back control of your body, your intimacy, and your emotional availability means nothing less than reclaiming your fundamental power and reclaiming your shattered self-worth. You deserve a form of intimacy that genuinely nourishes your soul, that feels like true freedom, boundless joy, and mutual respect. Not a heavy, suffocating chain that binds you to perpetual emptiness. It begins with one brave, definitive no, then another, and with each resolute refusal, you rebuild the boundaries that were systematically eroded, one painful encounter at a time. The tightness in your chest will begin to ease, and you'll feel a lighter step. Your body is unequivocally your own sacred space, and it should be reserved for connections that uplift, respect, and cherish you. Your profound healing is patiently waiting for you, a journey that begins the moment you prioritize your well-being above the deceptive allure of a narcissistic woman's manipulative game. Take the next step in your healing journey. If you are looking for ongoing support and a community that truly understands, join our channel for related narcissistic content. Here, you'll find the push you need and a supportive community ready to walk with you. Share your story in the comments, and we might even include it in our next video. You can press the join button to become part of our community. And if you are truly ready to move on and take that crucial step toward healing, don't wait. Call a counselor near you to get started on your healing journey, or reach out to me directly for personalized guidance. Let the healing begin. And remember, you can and you will heal. Just start today. Thank you.